Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, and we're talking to various top experts from the industry to understand how did they find the big budget that's been delivered for the country today. And now joining in on Business Today Television, we have Aadit Palicha. He's the founder of Zepto. Warm welcome, Aadit, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Well, the big budget has been delivered. There is a tax benefit that's been rolled out. At least expectations and voices from the middle class and the salaried class have been heard. But there's a lot more as well. Announcement for the gig economy as well, for the startup industry as well, a whole host. How did you really look at the budget on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate it? And did it meet all your expectations too?
Yeah, I think it was a 10 on 10 budget for sure. We
Okay.
got a lot of we got benefits for consumption. We're the fastest growing consumer company in the country right now. And when we see the government pivoting towards a consumption backward growth approach, then that's a big win for us, at least in our book. But I think, more than that, what was most impressive about the budget was the consistency in moving the country towards free enterprise thinking. I think this government has been doing that for almost, or around a decade. And, we are seeing, thousands of crores being allocated towards entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
excitement around putting money behind top talent. And I think that's going to, bring people back from other parts of the world that are Indian back in the country to help build. So, I'm quite excited about that.
Absolutely. As you belong to an industry which is growing and perhaps the most exciting at this point in time. I mean, you belong to this industry which, in fact, was one of the biggest employers of gig economy workers as well. This thing has been taken in very well in the budget. The government has focused on recognizing the gig workers, on creating an e-shram portal for them, wanting to extend healthcare benefits to them, and several social security benefits as well. Do you think this will now encourage more and more people to really look at it as a fair profession, probably to look at it more excitedly? How are you really looking at this entire space now?
100% Sakshi. Look, I think there's been over the past few years or so this unnecessary demonization of gig work, right? If you actually go on the ground, speak to delivery drivers like I have, and I'm
Hmm.
sure, many people in the industry have, it's actually a life-changing, uplifting form of employment for them. You'll find a, 22-year-old, 23-year-old boy that's trying to get through his, BCom that needs
Yeah.
23,000 rupees just to, take care of expenses here or there, and he gets to do it flexibly, at different hours of the day on a platform like Zepto or the other, platforms out there, right? It's life-changing for him. Or let's say, an elderly person that, used to be doing heavy industrial work
Hmm.
and was paid below minimum wage in the informal sector, and now is, able to come and work in a much safer, much more consistent environment, make more money with less hours and less risk. And so, that is it's a huge win. And Zepto alone has gone from 0 to 1.13 lakh uh,
Yeah.
people in our network, or people that are earning a livelihood on the platform in just 36 months. And I think the government's encouragement will push us. We'll try to create millions in the next half a decade to a decade. That would be my ambition.
Absolutely. Now, Adit, apart from this, when we're talking about the tax benefits that have been rolled out, zero tax for people earning up to 12.45 lakhs, that's clearly been done to boost consumption. That was the big ask right now. And you belong to an industry which caters to the large consumption basket as well, be it quick commerce, be it food delivery at this point in time. And of course, you all are branching out into various newer aspects as well. We've already seen a reaction today. By the way, both your competitors, Zomato and Swiggy, they shot up in terms of the stock market reactions as well. That goes on to show how excited they were with the kind of enthusiasm that will now come in with extra consumption coming in. First up, did you think on the hindsight, probably it would have been a great time for you to also get listed early on? And what exactly would you expect with this boost coming in on the consumption?
No, absolutely. Look, I think there is going to be a boost in consumption. I think the metric on hand internally that we're talking about is ARPU, right? Average revenue per user. And when you have a few thousand rupees more of discretionary cash, right? And by the way, our customer base is largely in this, hovering around the 8 to 12 lakh zone, right? Or like slightly
Yeah.
lower in some cases, but in that 8 to 12 lakh zone, you have a few thousand rupees extra of spend per month. you're going to put that where you're getting the best bang for your buck. You're going to put it into platforms like Zepto that are giving you better prices, better service, better quality control, better selection. And so, yeah, I mean, I think every rupee that we spend on customer acquisition, each new customer is going to hopefully give us incrementally more and more spend per month, which is, the most consequential metric for our economics to work out and create, a high amount of profit in long term. So it's a big win, no doubt about it. I mean, being a publicly listed company or a private company, uh, I think that prices will go up and down, that investor sentiments are from the operator's perspective, right, from the guy that's
Yeah.
running the business. I can tell you that investor sentiments sometimes can be very fickle. So I've just decided to let investors do what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. But how soon are we expecting you to jump on the bandwagon as far as the stock market listing goes? I think that's the big, talking point among investors. Everybody is waiting for Zepto to also come on board so that we at least have three players right there for investors to choose from on the stock markets.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't, comment on exact timelines for listing, but what I can
Sure,
tell you is
sure.
we just finished this Singapore to India flip, right? We're
Yeah.
now an Indian parent entity. It was a big win for the startup ecosystem.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that was the first big step towards the listing. So, expect progress imminently.
Absolutely. Now, when we talk about the quick commerce business, I think that's the most exciting space beyond food delivery now. And, I want to understand from you, how are you really looking at how the industry is shaping up? There are more and more bigger players wanting to enter and now take that basket. Now, those players are MNCs, they have deeper pockets, they are large giants throughout the world. How are you looking forward to navigating through your own course and yet maintaining your market share, probably growing it when competition seems to be increasing on ground?
Look, I think at the end of the day, the game is all about execution. And like, from our perspective, we expanded rapidly. We've gone from 1 billion in GMV to 3 billion in GMV in 8 months, from April 2020 or May 2024,
Hmm.
effectively to 10.
Hmm.
More importantly, you know, we've actually expanded the business into 74 cities, 350 stores to almost 1,000 stores over the past 9 months,
Hmm.
as we stand today. And as we've expanded aggressively, we've just continued improving the fundamentals of our business. Our advertising
Yeah.
revenue is, up by a few hundred basis points. We've hit 1,000 crores plus of advertising revenue. New categories like electronics, apparel, beauty have scaled to a couple thousand crores. That's additive to bottom line. So there are lots of, big levers in terms of improving customer experience and improving the fundamental efficiency levers of the business. And that is, I think, the whole game. That's what decides who wins and who loses. And so we're just focused on like cracking our execution. I think if we do well, we'll succeed. And the same is true for our competitors. If they keep executing well, they'll continue to succeed.
Right. If you could give us, like, a long term vision, if we want to understand, how would you want to grow further? What are the branching out of new forays that you would want to do now beyond the existing business that you are in? What are the next exciting things that we should be excited about? Why I'm asking you this is just to get a perspective for, and, people to open up their minds and see how wide this business could grow. Because why I'm talking about, there is a lot of scope of innovation. I mean, like a Zomato talking about 10 minutes of an ambulance service coming in cities as well. So we never thought that, something of this aspect could also come in. I want to understand from you, where are you thinking when it comes to growth and in various directions?
100%. Look, I think for us, the big bet right now is Zepto Cafe. Um, we announced that it grew 70% month on month, from 30,000 orders per day to 50,000 orders per day in a very
Mm-hmm.
short period of
Mm-hmm.
time once we launch our new app. It's basically 10-minute food delivery where, building out, snacks, desserts, coffees, teas, all sorts of day-to-day cafe items delivered in 10 minutes from our kitchens, right? And that's pretty exciting. I think that's one business that I think can scale to thousands of crores. In fact, we've already hit a 500 crore revenue
Okay.
run rate
Okay.
on this QSR business in effectively, a very short period of time. And I think we can get it to a couple thousand crores in the next, you know, I'm sorry, in a very short period of time as well. So that's what we're excited about. And I think the other piece is I'll give you one sort of zoom out, Sakshi, if you don't mind. And
Sure.
a lot of people these days are talking about, let's say, for example, where's India's foundational language model?
Mm.
There are,
Mm.
talks about China being able to do something, US being able to do something. The reality is that most of these foundational models, most of this tech infrastructure comes from great consumer internet companies, right? If you look
Mm.
at it, the big players in the US, Google, Amazon, Facebook, these you started as consumer internet companies, right?
Yeah.
And then they accumulate the capital. Even Alibaba in China, they
Yes.
accumulate the resources, the talent, the capital to build, this foundational tech infrastructure. I'd say our ambition over the next decade, nothing anytime soon, but our ambition over the next decade
Mm.
would be to build, an Alibaba or an Amazon, or a consumer internet company of, huge scale, generating thousands of crores of free cash flow, and then constantly reinvesting in building more and more tech infrastructure for this country. So maybe half a decade from now, we're in that position. We can actually start pushing the boundaries on more innovation, because the best tech talent in the country, the most resources, the fastest execution, all of that exists at Zepto today. So why can't we build the Alibaba of India, right? There's no reason why not.
Why not? Okay, that's a very bullish comment, and that would encourage a lot of people in your industry or hoping to be in your industry and the sector at large too. But since you're talking about the best kind of minds, technology available here, I actually want to digress a bit, because right now the world, that's the buzzword worldwide, and the mega trend that's emerging is AI. I mean, what is your own sense of India being seen still far behind in creating such AI bots and probably being in the race at all? How are you really looking at that aspect? Do you think India still needs to pull up its socks?
Look, I think we need to encourage the development of great
Mm,
internet companies and
mm,
technology companies in India.
mm,
And I think the government is aligned with that thinking, right? We need to see large outcomes get created in India,
mm,
where, if we can create five, seven big, internet companies, highly profitable, compounding, improving the quality of life of consumers, and more importantly, creating millions of jobs, right? Then I think that those are the companies that become national assets in a way, right? And those national assets become, the driving force of technology. So I don't think we have that yet. The government knows this and is encouraging the success of startups, investing in them, and helping companies like Zepto exist. I mean, I don't think we would have existed without the encouragement and the support
yes.
of this free enterprise thinking, government. So yeah, that's the way that we look at it.
Okay, very, very quickly, I also want to understand, even Prime Minister Modi did talk about how the newer trend emerging is that people are interested in going to live events, and, how this is the biggest trend that's now emerging amongst youth. Do you think you want to get into that as well? Because a lot of your counterparts are also, and peers are also getting big onto this live events, going out, event planning. How are you looking at this space?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I don't I don't think we're going to get into that business, right? We've got
Mm,
our hands full at least for the next
mm.
5 years,
Okay.
and 10 years on core quick commerce. Even Zepto Cafe, in my mind, is part of the
Yes.
core quick commerce flywheel, right? It's
Yeah.
within the box of the dark store. So we're just going to be heads down, focused on what we're doing for the next 5, 10 years, crack the business, generate a couple thousand crores of free cash flow,
Yeah.
and then play the big game after that. But right now, so far, just doing what we're doing.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you and getting all those insights. All the very best to you for the upcoming IPO plans as well. And hoping to see you soon on Business Today Television. Thanks a lot for sharing your insights on the budget and your sector.
Thanks, Ash. It was great talking to you. See you.
Thank you so much. And with that, viewers, we wrap up this special conversation with Zepto co-founder right there, Aadit Palicha. And what we're going to do now is going to be getting you all the insights around budget and top industry voices as to how do they understand the budget benefits the economy, the markets, and you at large. Stay tuned.